understanding that you have more control than you believe. And as athletes, we always try to think that way. If I work this hard, if I put in this amount of effort, if I put in this amount of time, these are the results. You know, for you, you finally make the opening day roster. It takes a while for you to get a chance. Week later, you get sent back down. But 3 of your first 4 hits leave the yard. You know, I mean, I, again, would feel really good about myself. But I own a training facility, and I've learned that, you know, we see all the big contracts and you hear about them, but minor leagues and trying to work your way to be on that roster each and every day is extremely difficult. When you do feel like you have the skill and you have shown it on the biggest stage, but you aren't in control of the amount of time you get to spend on a major league roster, you're sent back down. How did those things affect you and start to play a part in some of that insecurity?
I was really good at making it about making myself believe that this other part of me was just being ridiculous or arrogant or whatnot, because there was, again, the logical or more rational part of me that was able to see the truth or the reality in any kind of circumstance. I was young, so I had the roster flexibility. So it wasn't, I knew that, a part of me knew that it wasn't necessarily my performance. It's just because I was the young guy who was able to go up and down. But the other part of me was able to just kind of like bash the other side and be like, no, F this, like this is just so annoying, and make it a pity party. And those two would just kind of battle against each other. And it was like so, again, exhausting, because it's, again, I think it sounds kind of weird, but I think everyone can relate that we all have our conversations. We all have that voice that we kind of think to ourselves in. And sometimes I just feel like I would kind of just sit back and be like, what are these 2 doing? Or what are these 3 doing? Or whatever, however many of these like voices from different perspectives were going at each other. And it was just like, I'm still like, myself now, the 2020 hindsight, it's not an eye joke, but it's something that's there.
I definitely didn't know if I could laugh, no.
I was laughing at something else I heard.
I take advantage of it. I let it eat with the eye jokes. 2020 hindsight, just knowing that like, those things are that's just a part of it. Like that is something that like, of course it's there, but also 2020 hindsight that I got to experience everything that I had ever wanted as a kid. I didn't do a good job of adjusting my goals of getting to the next step, even though obviously I was trying my hardest to become an everyday player, become an all-star, become a World Series champion. I think that I was subconsciously so pleased with just making it to the big leagues that I got a little bit of complacency in me, but I didn't have the awareness to realize that's what was happening. And I was working incredibly hard, but I was also like, man, I should have been released like 3 separate times before this. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of just like icing the cake, and I should enjoy this a little bit more. But that internal battle of different kind of perspectives or different thoughts didn't allow me to kind of realize that in the moment.